so matting, decorating, but first closure. So I am going to use Snowed In from Echo Park for this. First thing we need to do is do our closures on a couple of elements. So I'm not going to do any magnet closures. I'm going to do just ribbon, because it's definitely more cost effective. Magnets can be hard to find. They can be kind of expensive. So first up, actually I'm going to come in here to this one. Okay, so we need enough ribbon that's going to come up from both sides and tie over the top of this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's move that stuff out of the way for just a minute. I'm going to take a little piece of score tape. I'm going to find the approximate center point on one side of my page here. And I'm going to just attach the end of my seam binding down. Okay, I always like to go a little bit longer, mostly because I am very much bow challenged. I cannot tie a bow to save my life. And then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. You want to try and line these up as close as you can. Okay. All right. So now we can glue in our little fold out piece. Okay. And I'm just centering this on the page. I've got about 1/4 of an inch at the top and the bottom. And then I can just take this, and this is really long. Like, I got totally carried away with the ribbon on this one, but that's okay. It's much better than having it be way too short and not being able to get it to tie at all, because I've done that. I cannot tell you how many times. Okay, so there we go. So for this one, since we are going to mat this before we put this down, this one we're actually going to do it all down the back of the waterfall so that it wraps all the way around. Okay, so again, I'm going to take score tape and line it up about the middle. I'm just going to run it all the way down, trying to get it straight, but it's not, and that's okay. And you know, if stuff isn't perfect, don't beat yourself up about it. It's handmade. Nobody will notice the mistakes except you. So I promise you it's not a big deal. Okay. All right. And this will come up and around, and we'll tie in here like so. Okay. So I don't have my paper picked out for that back page, so I'm going to leave that for now. Still not going to put it in yet. I think these, once they're matted, which we really could do a little magnetic closure on those. You know what? Let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that. So let me grab magnet. Okay. This is a pair of the Basic Gray large magnets. And doing this is as simple as getting the backing off of one side. I am going to put this in the middle of the page, okay? Because what I can do is I'm going to fold this in, and that's where it's going to click to. And then I can pull the backing off of the other half, push that down to pick it up, and there you have it. It's literally that easy. Quite honestly, magnets are by far my favorite way to do closures, but they can be kind of hard to find good ones. Excuse me. It can be kind of hard to find good ones. Sometimes they can be expensive. I don't know. Not everybody likes them. I love them. So you don't see me do ribbon closures very often just because, like I said, I am very much not good at tying them. So there you go. All right, so this one, we're going to open up our pocket. Get another little piece of tape. We're going to put it in the center on the back side of that flap. And we're going to tack this onto it. Because what we will end up doing when we mat this is I will find some cute little element. I thought I had the chipboards to go with this, and they may just be over there and I'm not seeing them. What I can do is take one of these smaller elements, so like this snowflake would be perfect, one of these snowflakes. Mount that on cardstock and put it on a foam dot or a button or something, and then you'll put it about the center here, and then this will wrap around it to hold that pocket closed. You can do it with the seam binding, you can do it with string, all kinds of options you got to do that kind of a closure. So the last closure would be if you think you need one for the outside of your album. A lot of times, and it is the one area where I will use ribbon, doing closures out here so that you have a nice pretty bow on the side of your album when it's on display. And I didn't get my ribbon out for that. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to get some of this. Do I want the white or the gray? I kind of think I want the white. Okay, so this is just some kind of sheer, I'm not actually even sure what this is called, but it is probably my favorite ribbon to use for an album closure. So again, I'm just going to put eyeball where my center is. Put that down. Adhere my end down. I'm going to go out about 13 inches. Because again, you don't want it to be too short. You can always cut it off if you've got too much. You can't add it back if you don't have enough. Okay, same thing on the back. And again, we'll just tack that on there. Pull this out as long as the front piece and snip that off. And then you'll have your nice closure for the outside of your book. There you go. All right. Next up, the final step is going to be matting and decorating. I'm not going to mat the entire book with you. And again, that's just, it's a long process. It's a boring process to watch. And everybody, as you do these, even just from doing scrapbook layouts or making cards or whatever, everybody kind of has their own way they want to do it. So I'm going to show you a couple of options, a couple of different ways that we can do this, and some tips and things for that, and also for decorating. So that will be our last video in this series, and I'll be back soon.